And good evening, sports fans. And it's the Karl DeMasi Sports Report. It's the coach and AD, but the AD won't be here because he's stuck in a athletic department meeting over at Calvary Day Sioux. So it's going to be Karl DeMasi and the four coaches. And remember, it's all right here on the Coach's Corner Sports Network on the Karl DeMasi Sports Report. And tonight's show is presented by Specialty Sports on Mall Boulevard right here in Savannah, Georgia. First of all, guys, I want to say thanks for doing this. We know it's a hot topic, June 8th. Everybody's itching to go. And hopefully you guys are doing well.
Thanks for having us, man.
Thanks for having us. It's awesome.
Certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, well, appreciate it. You guys are part of, four big programs, and people want to know what you guys are thinking about. And, it's just crazy. But first of all, before we touch into the football, I want to get into what are your thoughts about the pandemic ending the spring sports for the seniors? That's all they had left.
Well, obviously, it's a big concern, and we felt horrible for those kids. And we know how much the kids put into it. As coaches, it stinks, but we know we get another opportunity to go out and compete and work with kids. But for those seniors, it was really, really hard, and I hate it for them. And I know we won't take this opportunity for granted once we can get back out there.
Anybody else?
Yeah, there's several guys that we were really looking forward to the track season and going to show their stuff and have a chance this one last time. And it's just heartbreaking in reality. I look back at my senior years back in the day, and it's heartbreaking for them. But I know they're going to be tougher for it, and all of them seem to have good spirits about it. And we just want to, just put our heartfelt thanks to those young men and how they've handled it so far.
Coach LeZotte?
I tell you, both those are dead on. One thing just from the school aspect, seeing these folks and forcing us to change our approach. I think we're going to take a lot of these things with us in the future of how to approach it. I really enjoyed the way we did graduation. I thought it was extremely personable. I think the families enjoyed themselves, but it was a trying time for everybody. But I do think that they're going to be stronger because of it.
Coach Baker.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I echo the same things that y'all are saying. And our baseball guys, it took a toll on our baseball guys and Coach Oglesby and the whole staff. And we had a pretty good amount of seniors that we're looking forward to this year. And, of course, they still have some summer ball with some teams. But and our school has done a great job, especially with these seniors. We haven't had graduation yet, but we plan on having that in June. But they did a parade for these guys and the families. And Savannah Christian family has been pretty upbeat right now. So.
And if you're joining in on the stream, it's the Karl DeMasi Sports Report Wednesday midweek live update. And I got the four head coaches. It's called the Coaches Roundtable tonight because June 8th, we're going to start football. We got Matt LeZotte from Richmond Hill High School, the Wildcats, Baker Woodward from Savannah Christian Prep, of course, the Raiders, and Kyle Hochman over there at New Hampstead. Coach, I'm going to say New Hampstead because that's where I grew up. So it's New Hampstead. And the Phoenix, and, of course, Danny Britt over from Benedictine Military School. I'm glad you guys can do this. Now, for me personally, old football coach, I haven't coached in a while, but what is going to be the new normal for football practice starting June 8th or later on in July? What's going to be the new normal? You guys work off each other.
Well, I'll tell you, I think the detail that goes into the planning process, our program, we're fortunate to have a good number of assistant coaches, but when you're having that group of 20, you really have to make sure that the voice is being echoed throughout each one of those groups because there's no overlap with the coaches. So I think it's going to build cohesion within the football staff, force head coaches to be very clear about what our direction is and what our expectation is. And I feel like the communication that we've had over these last few months has been phenomenal. It's forced us to think a little bit differently and to coach a little bit differently than we're used to.
I definitely agree with Coach LeZotte and what he was saying. I mean, I think it's very difficult, has been very difficult to try to communicate. We missed spring. We were trying to do, Zoom meetings with the kids, which is great for about 5 minutes. And, but we are going to have to learn a new way of communicating. We are going to have to be more managers. And I think it does help when you have a lot of coaches that you can do that. But definitely the communication is going to be different, and who the heck knows what it's really going to look like. We don't know. We feel like we have an idea what's going to happen June 8th, but what's going to happen 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month after that, who knows?
Coach Hochman, Coach Woodward, what's the new normal going to look like for you guys?
Well, I think they both said it well, but, as a football coach, and I know Coach Hochman's probably the same way, all of us the same way, we know exactly what we're going to be doing pretty much every single day during the summer. We know exactly what we're going to be doing at spring, and even planning for, July, even planning for June 8th when we start. We know what June 8th is going to look like, but I'm a little eerie in planning after that. We're going to be real detailed. I agree with Coach LeZotte. I mean, we've had team meetings, offensive team meetings and defensive team meetings every Tuesday and Thursday on Zoom, and we're done with that. Our guys have been in Zoom classroom, and so we're kind of done. But I'm trying to look at the good in things. I mean, there's ways in which we can reach people through Zoom. And our middle school staff. I got a meeting with our middle school staff next week, and it's so hard to get those guys together. But through Zoom, they don't have a problem getting there. So there's some good in this. We're learning new ways, especially on how to plan and how to communicate with our guys for sure.
Well, Coach Hochman, I know you're the only one that doesn't really have an idea what's going on yet, because the board, the administrators, and John Sanders, the district AD, will meet tomorrow. But what do you think is going to be the norm for our public schools?
It's your guess as good as mine. We're obviously planning to follow those exact guidelines. We'll see exactly what our administration comes out with. Hopefully it's somewhere in the ballpark of what we've already seen. I just, again, I feel for these kids, but as we all know, these guys, they roll with the punches so much better than the coaches have. It's been amazing to me how well they've picked up the technology and been, more reliable in some ways than our coaches in how we're doing things so far, trying to have the Zoom meetings and the different things going on. There are a few kids that we are missing because they don't have reliable technology. That has been a difficult time. But we've also discussed ideas that, with only 20, well, we're going to have our Zoom meeting before we get to work. So then we go do our work separately, with the different coaches, but making sure we're covering it the same way and kind of trying to do it. Our challenge, obviously, for all of us, we'll see if they hold these guidelines through the entire month of June into July. How are we going to actually have social distancing and have a double team, double team block? How are we going to do that? So anyhow, how are we going to clean the footballs and things like that? We're discussing all ideas. We're talking about ordering some wand that, X-ray or a UV wand or something. And, who knows what it's going to be like. But, we're very, going to be very respectful of, obviously, the rules. But more importantly, the individual kids, their families. We got several that have already talked to that live with their grandparents. And so, there's going to be some trepidation with some of these with kids and their families, and we're going to obviously be safe and do the right thing and respect those kind of individuals. But we're going to try to do the best we can, and nobody's going to feel sorry for any of us. So we're going to have to get it done. There's still going to be a winner and a loser eventually.
And you're listening to the Coach and AD Midweek Wednesday night live show presented by or sponsored by tonight, Specialty Sports over on Mall Boulevard in Savannah. All right. Now, I know how the public school works. I know Coach Hochman knows how our public schools work. But Coach Britt, Coach Woodward, Coach LeZotte, I don't know how it works in Bryan County. Is there going to be a hardship, a financial hardship, if this turns out you can't have as many people as we usually have at our games?
it would definitely be a hardship for Benedictine. Typically, football is going to pay for the other sports, and so it's going to be a major issue for us if we can't have crowds and hopefully we can. I'm sure it's going to be different. I'm sure the new normal, as we're all saying, until we can know exactly what we're doing, kind of up in the air. But it would be a major hardship if we can't have crowds.
Over there, up there in the hill, how do you guys handle that?
I tell you, it'd be the same for us, and we still have that small single A, triple A stadium, and so we've been pretty good the past few years of packing that thing out, and if we had a bigger facility, you could space them out, and maybe it wouldn't be as hurtful, but those gates pay a lot of bills during the school year, and I think that's across the board, especially in South Georgia. But we're going to take it. We owe it to the kids to go play. We owe it to the kids to get out there and compete, give them an opportunity to showcase their abilities and their talents. So I think it's going to look just fine if I'm being quite frank about it. I think we're going to be just fine.
Over there at Savannah Christian, Coach Woodward.
Yeah, I mean, we've over the last couple of years, we've had great crowds and great gates, and especially being able to play in host some home playoff games too, being able to get some money with that. But also, and I know Coach Britt's in the same boat. You worry about the revenue that's coming in from the program, your football media guide, things like that. That you're selling to people to contribute to, and so you're kind of worried about that, but you just can't worry about things you can't control. And I agree with you, Coach, that we owe it to the kids to play this year, and I'm just hoping everything is going to be normal and we'll be able to pack out our stadiums, and that first scrimmage will be exciting. So that's what I hope for and pray for.
Coach Hochman, I know we can't really get into it because we don't really know about the budgets. We get a certain budget we got to follow. Do you think the public schools will get hit hard by not having the stands at least half capacity?
Well, obviously, like you said, we don't really know where all the money goes anyway. But yes, it will affect us all in some way, shape, or form, whether it be through our fundraising and and other businesses and such that are struggling or unsure of where they're going to go with their donations and things along those lines. So, we don't know the gate, but again, those other businesses and things that we've relied on to help us may be in a little bit different situation financially. So that's going to be, as Coach Woodward mentioned, so we'll see, but we're all affected by it. No question.
All right. And the AJC ran a story on the Fulton County teams that now they're thinking of maybe not starting till June 15th. Do any of you guys think that's an indication that we might not kick off at the end of August? It might wind up after Labor Day?
I don't think we will. I think we'll be on time. There may be some places that are a little bit different, and that's what I was saying. I don't know who I was yelling to, but I was yelling at the top of my lungs for about a month there. I understand maybe in Atlanta you may be in a little bit different situation with what you can do, but I think most of the rest of the state's in a little bit different place. I feel like we'll start on time.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I'm very optimistic that we'll start on time. I believe that the benefits to our community, to our kids, and who we're representing will outweigh some other ideas. And again, I don't want to get into the politics of it, but that gets very scary at times when I start thinking about politics. So hopefully we can keep our kids and our communities in mind when we make these decisions at the higher ups, because that's what we're here to serve, or who we're here to serve.
Matt,
I think what you were saying, Coach Hochman, I agree with. And one thing to look at it in this situation, I'm not making light at all of coronavirus and what we're all going through, but having these young men, these teenagers, without anything to do, without positive things flowing into them, you telling me I'm not worried about the virus at that point. I'm worried about what's happening to them every day and what could be going on. And I think all the coaches would certainly agree with that.
Coach LeZotte?
That's probably the biggest component of our program is we try to build the relationships with the kids. And that's one thing that you start to see now. They've been out of my life now longer than they've ever been since I started coaching, and the impact that they have on me even. And you know, sport is a special thing. We're starting to see the effects of it in our society. You're starting to see the positive effects of the talks being had from professional on down college, all the way down to high school. You know, I think a June 8th, June 15th start date is plenty of time to prepare our kids. Even if it was a start date in July, it would be plenty of time to prepare our kids. I remember when I was in college back in the early 2000s, and you know, we did 2-a-days for 2 weeks in August, and then we played a season. You know, like we had a lot of guys that weren't able to stay during the summertime and train like they do now, and so, you know, it's all relative. You know, do you come up with a plan? Can you execute that plan? Can you protect the kids with that plan? And that's what it's going to boil down to.
Baker.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I'm more worried about if we don't, and you know, because I'm a big firm believer, and all football coaches are, in your routine, and your routine determines your success. And we got a lot of guys just sitting around. I want to think that they're doing every single workout we send out there and running every single sprint that we posted in our email. But you know, we feel for them. We want them to be able to get back to that routine, and you know, of course, everybody's routine determines their success. And so, hopefully, the sooner we get back to routine, and obviously, we're not making light of the situation. Even my cousin's in Atlanta right now, and he just had his first baby boy, premature, about 2 pounds 8 ounces, with all this going on, and he got. Going in and out of the hospital, he got the coronavirus, and so it's a different, like for here. I think we've got some cases, of course, but yeah, and up in North Georgia and Atlanta, it's a little different situation. But yeah, the routine is where it's at, especially for our young men that are playing football. Get them back to that routine as safely as possible.
And
in our discussions. With the county AD and such, you know, one of my concerns was a lot of these kids are finding ways to go work out. They're going with people. They're these private trainers and different things that don't have any rules, you know. And I'm concerned about who they're with, who's supervising them. Are they going on their own and doing it? You know, the colleges. My son playing college ball. They aren't allowed to mandate that they are working out, because there's nobody there with them to monitor them and make sure they're doing it. So I'm concerned about these kids that are out on their own, doing their thing, doing the workouts that we're asking them to do, and no one's there to monitor them. So that's something I think we got to really consider. Even if they're considering delaying the season, we still need to be around these kids as they're working out and monitor them.
And I think you guys just said it right there. There are issues besides social distancing, making sure that everything's sanitized, making sure things are right, that people don't see, that we see, or you guys see now that you're the football coaches, I'm the old ball coach. You see that people don't see that, and they don't realize what's behind it. And they don't realize that you guys are a father figure. You're someone they confide in, and the kids need this today. They really do. And Coach Hochman, I'm going to go one step further. Posted on social media, there was a high school where 20 kids were together working out already with somebody that is not a certified coach. So it's just crazy all over the place.
No question. You know, there's so many unintended consequences in all our decisions, everything that we do. You can't think through everything, but just very, you know, just concerned, because I know our kids are fired up about it. They want to be working. They want to be out there going, and this is life or death for them. It's not the coronavirus life or death, but for them and their you know, senior, junior year, whatever, their recruiting process, their their self confidence and who they are as a person. There's a lot of things at stake, and then you get all the way down to the, for us, we're feeding them breakfast and lunch during the summer. They come in at 7:30, eat breakfast. We work till noon, and then we have lunch. So I know some of these kids, that's a lot of the nutrition that they get every day as well. So, there's obviously all kind of different things that we're thinking of.
All right, let's go to the positive note here. Are there any positive points that you think that have come out of this pandemic as far as high school sports and football, especially right now?
I think there's potential that they're going to take a serious look at how practice is structured during the summertime. I think there's been a push for a second dead week in certain regulations from that aspect. I think it's all good. I think giving these guys a little bit of a break and being able to have some different ideas thrown out, but kind of with the last point, boredom makes people make stupid decisions, and so it's one of those things where you don't want them to be too bored. You want them to be active and enjoy being teenagers, but have the structure with football along with it. I think there's going to be a pretty heavy look at as far as that structure goes.
Coach Baker.
Yeah, there's definitely positives that have come out of this. I worked for Coach Britt for a while, and our whole kind of schedule was we worked out, of course, but then we really didn't do much mental football stuff until spring, and so really I wasn't too concerned when we weren't able to do much besides the working out, but getting together as a team and working on Zoom and even getting together as a staff when you don't have to go all the way up to the school. Those are some positive things. I think you've seen positive things all around. Even we were talking about it at church. We just started going back to church, but weeks ago for Easter service, we usually have about 500 people at church. But when he posted online, it reached about 1,700 people. So there's a positive. There was only going to be about 500 that heard the service that morning in a usual church, but and we're learning new ways to do things. And of course, I've got lots of questions. I'm decent at a computer, but now I've become an expert at Zoom. And Zoom's not that hard, thankfully. But there's new ways of doing things, new ways of meeting, especially with your coaching staff. And I think we'll be able to reach more people and have a chance to have more mental meetings with the kids just at home in the future. Hopefully, we're where we want to be back at school and back in the weight room, but definitely can get some extra learning in for sure.
Coach Britt?
Yeah, definitely agree with what they're saying, and we've improved so much, with what we can do. I think at schools we're going to learn from this and take that. We don't necessarily have to be on campus all the time to learn. Meetings can happen more. If the counselor needs to meet with a parent, you don't have to make that parent leave work, take off work, come in. Maybe they can, at their lunch break, do a Zoom meeting and that sort of thing. So I think a lot of things are going to improve from that. I think the biggest thing from it is, for a very long time now, we're all going to be extremely excited to be around, these teenagers, and they're going to be excited to be around football. And my daughters were picking on me the other day. I just stopped these teenage boys and started talking to them, and they started laughing and said, "Obviously you miss your guys." I said, "Yeah, of course I miss them. I haven't seen them in 3 months now, So I just was randomly talking to the guys and asking them if they played football somewhere. So, so I think it's going to improve. Help us just not take it for granted, as I said earlier.
Coach Hochman?
Yeah, I would want to piggyback off of that. I think the ideas of what football means to us as professionals, and then as a young guy, what football means to them. I think I've always been under the belief that kids will learn and accelerate everything when they're really motivated, when they are motivated, when it's self-motivation, not when it's me doing it, but when they are motivated, they can accelerate their learning exponentially. So I think we'll see a lot of guys learn and pay more attention and be more, just everything, just do much better and not taking it for granted, as Coach Britt said.
All right, I'm going to throw this at you, okay? We come down to August 31st or September 7th, whatever it may be, for the first week, and you get a directive that the games are only going to be played. The games are going to be played, but without fans, okay? And only parents are allowed to attend. How do you think that's going to go over?
Well, I think we'll do it. And as far as we're concerned, we'd be excited to get out there on the field. My question to you: have you met the BC alumni?
Oh, I know the BC alumni.
And you're going to keep them out? I don't know. I don't want to be. I'd much rather be the guy coaching on the field than the person trying to keep them out of the stands. So, good luck with that.
But there's that possibility, Coach LeZotte. How will that work up there in Bryan County, Richmond Hill High School?
Well, I tell you, we feel like we've got a lot of momentum coming off the season we had in 2019, and I think it would be tough. I think there are a lot of folks really excited about what the future holds, and it'd be kind of along not quite on the same lines as BC, but very similar to that. People wanting to get out and seeing what we've been doing. We're very proud of our presence in the Richmond Hill community, and those folks are proud of the product that we've been able to put on the field. So I think it would be it'd be a lot easier to be on the field than to be at that gate managing that. So I'll let the administrators handle that one.
How about the tenants out there at Pooler Stadium? What do you guys feel?
Go ahead, Coach, if you want to go ahead.
I think we would probably be just fine if they let parents come. We'd probably be right on schedule. That's about all I'll say about it.
Football, and of course, I don't have to tell y'all this, is, football is a game of momentum, and the crowd gets into it. You block a punt, you feed off the noise of the crowd, and a lot of guys, they dream of running out that tunnel and the fans, cheering them on and making plays and hearing the roar of the crowd. And so it would be tough. And just like Coach Britt said, of course, we would do it. It'd probably be hard to monitor the Pooler police monitoring the tailgate that goes on out there before the games and the cooking and stuff like that. But I wouldn't want that job to keep the fans out because we've really got a great fan base at Savannah Christian. And so, but more importantly, the kids and even the coaches, they feed off of the momentum from the crowd and the support from the community. And so it would be tough, but of course we'd do it.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up right here. So each get a shot at this. What do you think the fall is going to be like for high school football and, of course, the coronavirus? You're talking about schools like Notre Dame starting 2 weeks early, ending before Thanksgiving. What do you think the fall is going to look like now, guys?
I feel like it's going to be somewhat normal. I do think I think as far as the time frame goes for us, I think it's going to be somewhat normal. Now, getting into the game and all the rules and things we have to follow, I think will be different, and it may be what we do from now on. I think we all agree with that. But I feel like we'll be playing football and we'll be able to kind of set our schedules and rock and roll. But there are going to be things that there's going to be a lot of administrative stuff on us.
Next guy up.
I agree. I think it's going to look pretty normal. I think when you look up in the stands, it's not going to look normal. I think you're going to see people with face masks in the fall, well into the fall. My wife was asking me my opinion on that earlier today, about the kids and all that stuff. And I said, babe, we're going to wait a little bit and see how this thing. Everything's changed in 2 months, and we're 2 months out. It's going to be crazy to see how much progress is made over these next 2 months. 2 weeks even. So, but I think it'll be fairly normal for everybody. I think they're just hoping and praying that it's as normal as possible.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Yeah, of course, everybody's hoping. Problem is none of us know. And I've been, of course, we're going into work the last couple of days, and even went and got a sandwich somewhere. It looks like things are creeping out and getting back to somewhat of normalcy. And of course, June 8th, we're going to have a, some type of normalcy. It's not going to be normal like your usual June workouts or into May, but it's going to be closer than it has been before. Now, the fans might be a little different, and the way in which we do things is, of course, already going to be different with the different groups. But hopefully, as we continue what the guidelines of the GHSA and we stay safe with what we're doing, hopefully things will return back to normal ASAP. And I think that's what we're praying for and we're hoping for. But yeah, I think obviously with what we've been dealing with, things are going to look a little bit different, especially at the beginning of August.
Coach Hochman?
Yeah, I just I echo all what they're saying. For sure. I have it's so fluid, just like Coach Woodward was saying. It's so fluid. I've even we've had discussions as a staff of not preparing too far in advance of our practice schedules, because I really think things will change. If you come out to Tybee on a Memorial Day weekend, you didn't think it changed a whole lot. It was pretty crowded. I don't think there was a whole lot of worry about what was jumping from 6 feet apart. But but in all seriousness, we're gonna respect everybody and follow the rules, do what they tell us. But I really believe as long as politics are out of it, I think we'll be fine.
All right, guys, anybody got any coaching points, any bonus points you want to pass on to anybody? Anything for the Wildcats, the Cadets, the Raiders, or the Phoenix?
I got a question. Coach Hochman, how did you stay in such great shape during this, man? I put on at least 10 to 15 pounds of fat, man. I'm looking at you like, dude, you've been running on the beach every day or what?
I've been running on the beach a lot, that's for sure. I spend a couple hours out there every day. God is good. God has blessed me and my wife. It's all because of my wife. She's so talented at what she does and enabled us to do this. But anyway, I appreciate that, Coach Britt. I'll if you saw me in person, you could see my belly.
I got you.
I think that way.
I'll guarantee you mine's bigger, babe.
Coach, I want you, Coach Hochman, I want y'all to keep on working on those social distancing double teams too, okay? Take that into the fall for me, all right?
Man schemes. I guess we're going to go to the man schemes this year.
Well, guys, I appreciate you coming on. And I can tell you right now, Richmond Hill, Savannah Christian, New Hampstead, Benedictine, they have some good leadership right there. You guys know what you got to do. You know what you got to do to take care of those kids. And if any parents are listening, I think any coach in any school in this area has an idea what they got to do to protect our young men. But as you guys said, they're getting bored. They're getting ready to get back into the real thing. It's going to be a different kind of normal, but you guys will have them ready. And I'm going to be on the positive side. I think it's going to start on time, and it's going to be play as usual.
Sounds great.
I agree.
Sounds good to me.
All in.
Hey, anytime you guys got anything you want to talk about, just let me know. We'll get it on here and we can discuss it with everybody. But appreciate what you're doing. And once again, be safe and have a lot of fun June 8th. And once again, go get them.
Appreciate it, Carl.
We really appreciate
Build the hill.
Build the hill. Go Raiders, go Cadets, go Phoenix,
Okay,
go Wildcats.
Rise up.
I'm neutral right here. Thanks, guys.
I appreciate it.
I mean, what more you want me to say? You got guys that have done this for a long time, whether they've been a head coach for 4 years like Coach Woodward, but he's been an assistant coach for at least 15. I mean, he's got good tutelage under Danny Britt and Coach Hochman, over 20 years of experience, and Matt LeZotte up there, another guy with a lot of experience. So I think we're in good hands as far as it comes to our athletes. And when we start football, are going to be monitored and going to be watched. Parents, you just got to make sure you're doing the right things with them too. I mean, at least you know where they're going to be. They're going to be with a coach. They're going to be with a coaching staff that's going to give them what they need. As Coach Hochman says, lunch, breakfast, which who knows if they're getting it right now. And Coach Britt over there at BC, they're feeding their young men too, and over at Savannah Christian. So there's a lot of positives that go in with football. So it's not just about X's and O's. It's not about going out there and just playing football. It's going about there, taking care of their young men, and they do a good job with it. And I hope you got a lot out of this. They're all positive. Hey, we're looking to play some football. I know I'm ready for some football. I can't wait for, the kickoffs and the games and going out there and see who's doing what. So once again, I got to thank, of course, Danny Britt from Benedictine, Kyle Hochman from New Hampstead, the Phoenix. They'll be going at it because they're in the same region. Coach LeZotte's up there in the big region with the big boys in 6A. And of course, Coach Woodward's in that black and blue division with Calvary and Savannah Country Day and all those other teams, those small schools. It's a black and blue division. It's going to be a lot of fun. This Saturday, got a great lineup. The voice of Georgia high school football is going to give me the honor of coming on my show. That's Tommy Palmer. We all know that he's battling cancer, but I'm excited about it. Tommy knows about football. He's writing a blog for the Georgia Public Broadcasting System. He's keeping on top of it. So we'll start off with Tommy Palmer. Then our athlete of the week will be coming from Savannah Country Day. Matt Osterman signed to go play baseball at Division D2. Flagler College, his season cut short. Country Day was having a good season. I think they're off to a 7-3 start, 3-1 in region play. So I can't wait to talk to that young Hornet. Now alumni of Savannah Country Day, Matt Osterman. And then, of course, we're going to end it out with a little Georgia Southern basketball. But this young lady is an A.E. Beach High School graduate, Anita Baker, the head women's basketball coach from Georgia Southern. Local girls, done good. She's going to come on and talk about what they're doing up there at Georgia Southern, about the kids coming back, because we know they said June 8th, football and basketball players can come back to college also. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I missed the AD. Chad Griffin had an executive athletic board meeting over there at Calvary Day School. This was his idea to have the coaches roundtable. Great idea. Once again, if you go to the YouTube page, the Karl DeMasi Sports Report YouTube channel, you can watch the shows that were previously broadcasted on Facebook Live, on YouTube Live, and, of course, on Twitter at KD Sports Report. Got to thank, of course, John Henderson, Coach's Corner, the Coach's Corner Sports Network, for letting me do this, for being a big part of making sure we get local sports out and jumping on board. I got to thank Sierra Thomas, the general manager over at Specialty Sports, jumping in and help promoting more sports, more local sports about what goes on with our kids and our athletics in this area. Once again, it's the coach, Karl DeMasi. I'll be back Saturday morning, live from the Sound Garden on the Karl DeMasi Sports Report with the coach and AD, Chad Griffin. Remember, Tommy Palmer, Matthew Osterman from Savannah Country Day, and the head women's basketball coach from Georgia Southern, alumni of A.E. Beach High School, Anita Baker, will be there. So whatever you may be doing tonight till Saturday may be the best that you're doing, maybe the most fantastic day you're doing. But I'm excited. Let me get out of here, and I'll talk to you guys on Saturday.